It is August 6, 2025, and we have new reports from inside Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan lair. Plus, Tulsi Gabbard discusses UFOs and New Jersey drones. This is Inverted World Live. Welcome back, everybody. This is Inverted World Live, and I'm your host, Shane Cashman. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the Inverted World Live nighttime hour, 2 hours with us as Brandon and I get into some wild stuff. This is a call-in show, and in about 30 or so minutes, we will be getting to phone calls. The link to call in is pinned in the chats on both Rumble and YouTube. If you've got a strange story you want to tell us about, share with the audience. We'd love to hear it. Or if you have some thoughts on something we've discussed on the show, give us a call. Brandon, say what's up.
What's up?
Notice that new chair over there?
This is.
Look at that.
I finally caved. I finally said to hell with this and ruined the aesthetic by incorporating a piece of newer technology into this old coffin. So let's go. Much more comfortable. Ready to do a 2-hour run. Let's get weird.
Can people even see the chair I'm in? Hold on. Can they see this thing?
No, it's not visible unless you're...
Look at this chair.
When I do the tests and it's Ghost Shane, it's just a chair.
Look at this chair.
But yes, these chairs are some crazy ancient shit that Shane found at like a fucking haunted thrift store or something.
It was me and Chris Poole at a flea market 4 or 5 years, like it felt like forever ago. And we saw these chairs and we were like, yep, that sounds about right. That looks good.
I'm not surprised at all that Chris was involved.
Could they even tell? Was this one that's taped? Yeah. Brandon taped this one because it fell apart like mid-air.
Yeah, no, randomly, like, Shane just, like, turned and it was like, and I'm like, I got that.
Yeah. They're from, like, they're 17th century.
You got to keep gaff tape on hand, whether you're a musician, podcaster, 100%. Even if you're just a random person, a nice roll of gaff tape saves the day.
Seriously. It's like NASA grade. You know, this is the best stuff. So I think they put Boeing wings back on airplanes with this kind of tape.
Oh, man.
But enough
Shane's favorite airline.
Enough on Boeing. Guys, an addendum to last night before we get into the other stuff. Just one more robot story for you. This was sent to me this morning by my friend Top Lobster over at the Nephilim Death Squad. Robot rabbits released in Florida Everglades to combat invasive pythons. This is happening as we speak. Let's hear about it, shall we? In a creative approach to wildlife management, University of Florida researchers have deployed 40 robot rabbits throughout South Florida this month in an innovative effort to combat the invasive Burmese python population that has devastated the Everglades ecosystem. Look at that cute little robot rabbit. Doesn't look dangerous at all. The project, led by Professor Robert McCleary and Assistant Professor Chris Dutton from the university's Department of Wildlife Ecology and Conservation, transforms ordinary plush toys into sophisticated python lures. By removing the stuffing and installing motors, heaters, and solar panels, the team has created decoys that mimic the movement and body temperature of marsh rabbits, the invasive snake's favorite meal. And do we have that heat signature photo so people can see what the python sees?
This little rabbit is more equipped than most people's homes in the United States.
Yeah, they all have little Tesla batteries inside of it.
What the hell? Does it look dangerous to you now, Shane?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The pythons are about to explode.
Yeah.
According to McCleary, the researchers aim to capture all the processes an actual rabbit would give off. Previous research demonstrated that live rabbits successfully attract pythons, but maintaining multiple rabbit pens across the vast Everglades proved impractical. Each solar-powered robot is equipped with motion sensor cameras that alert researchers when a python approaches, allowing for targeted capture. The South Florida Water Management District is funding this research as part of ongoing efforts to control the python population. Burmese pythons, introduced through the exotic pet trade in the 1970s, the infamous exotic pet trade of the 1970s, have become one of Florida's most destructive invasive species. With no natural predators, they've caused population declines of over 85% among native mammals like raccoons, bobcats, and rabbits throughout the Everglades. Which begs the question, why don't we have robot bobcats?
So I'm confused. Like, what do they do when the pythons eat them? Do they
I was assuming it was like
biodegrade into all this terrible shit that then burns the snake from like the inside out?
maybe.
I mean,
That's a good question. Maybe we'll answer it. I was assuming that they're like just cute little furry roadside bombs, like IEDs that when they're inside the python they just blow up remotely. I'm assuming DeSantis has a button for that and he just presses it every time he sees one of the robots.
All I saw was installing motors, heaters, and solar panels, not explosive devices. So I'm wondering what this thing actually does to combat it.
Like they're just allergic to robots, all right? We know the python cannot have a robot inside of it because it'll die.
It would probably just throw it up, though. That's
They
what
might.
they just throw everything up that they know that they can't.
And imagine if they start
digest.
learning. They just don't eat those anymore. Now they move to the general population of people. They go out into
Fantastic.
they leave the Everglades for real people.
That's a visual I needed. Thanks, Shane.
Yep. The robot rabbits join other python control methods, including professional hunters and specialized traps, for which the annual Florida Python Challenge offers a $10,000 grand prize. If anyone out there is in Florida or anywhere in the world, that's not bad. That's not bad. $10,000 for you to capture and or kill. It doesn't say kill, but I'm going to add that. A python. Hopefully not kill. I mean, they sound pretty cool.
It says control, so you'll be with your Python control methods will be awarded with a $10K grand prize.
You know what they should do is actually bring these to Alligator Alcatraz, and why not just put a bunch of pythons around it as well while we're at it, or maybe build a python prison, somewhere else. While experts acknowledge complete eradication is unlikely, these innovative approaches represent the continuing battle to protect native wildlife. If the current design proves ineffective in attracting pythons, researchers plan to enhance the robots with rabbit scent. McCleary expects to have preliminary data on the effectiveness of the robo bunnies by November 2025, just in time for Thanksgiving. So we will check back in for Thanksgiving to see if the robot rabbits are successful.
In doing whatever it is that they're doing. Glowing in the dark. I don't know.
Yeah, right? Like, you're right. There's nothing really in there that suggests they explode upon being devoured.
Maybe they can't put it in there exactly what their control method is, but I'm assuming by having them ingest these things, they're not trying to trick them into doing what you suggested, which is just to stop eating rabbits.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The idea is to combat an invasive population, is what they said.
Yeah.
So
we need these bunnies to explode. We need
to some degree, they need to do something violent that ends the snake, right?
Put it like, are they putting poison inside of it? Is there like a sound wave that's going to affect the python and make it move deeper into Everglades as opposed to into people's homes?
Is it a Bluetooth speaker that's just looping U2 songs?
Yes, you're forcing the snakes to hear U2.
It'd kill me.
Why not Annabelle? This seems like something she should oversee down there.
I don't think she's got time for pythons. It's just me. She's got a long, busy schedule of sitting in that crazy little coffin with the freaky cross on it.
That's true. And creepy. So there's that. The pythons are in trouble, and perhaps that's a good thing for Florida. Weird, strange, beautiful.
You just gave
Florida.
me an idea. What if we could actually weaponize Annabelle? Like, what if we convinced Annabelle to work for the government like that alien did?
Mm-hmm.
We give her, a tax ID. Let her get paid. Matt Rife just has to sign off on it, right? And then she's the first sent into battles.
So just doing what they always do.
We just drop Annabelle on the front lines and watch everyone lose their fucking minds.
And the government loves to enlist demons, so we know this is right up their alley.
If she's this effective at killing people, maybe we should implement her
it's not a bad idea.
A tool, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. If anyone out there in D.C. is listening, we can bring you to Annabelle, and maybe that'll take care of it. I'm also worried about, my buddy, animatronics, being weaponized now. That's like real life Chucky.
That's where I got this idea from. Was that guy that's like, let's just drop 30,000 of these on our enemies and see what happens.
And they're doing it with bunnies. They're not going to stop at bunnies. It's going to be everything. So next up on the list is this new Epstein news. It came out yesterday, and it's from the New York Times. So you know how I feel about the Times. But these are allegedly new photos from within what they're calling lair, which I think is a probably fair word to use for what was going on there. So let's pull that up and show the people what is going on in this creepy house.
No, it's not a real person. Hanging as a.
Did they look inside of it?
Maybe it is.
It is really weird.
They just covered it in bronze and
paintings of fake clouds,
left
clearly
it to die.
Part of the Big Cloud network. A look inside Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan lair. As a gift for Jeffrey Epstein's 63rd birthday, friends sent letters in tribute to the wealthy financier and convicted sex offender. They got both in there. Several,
nice.
Right? Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, one up for New York Times. Still, we could call him a demonic pedophile, but I'll give him props.
Does that leave them neutral in this spectrum? Is that
They're
what
trying.
That was like?
They're trying, because
I see what you did there.
When I was looking at this earlier, I was like, I want to go back at some point and see how many times they've written about Epstein, and was there a switch from disgraced financier to sex offender, and was it recently? Because clearly the Times and more left-leaning publications are now weaponizing Epstein against the administration. And, you know, we might feel a certain way despite having voted for Trump, but they're clearly trying to take down Trump.
Yeah, they even led with wealthy financier instead of leading with convicted sex offender, which I would do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they are choosing their words wisely.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to ingratiate themselves back into the people who are upset with Trump. I don't think anyone should be tricked and start believing anything the Times says, which is why I'm skeptical even of anything. Just like I was about the letter that they published from Trump, where he allegedly wrote another birthday letter, because they didn't even send Trump the original, which is super suspicious. Anyway, several shared a common theme, these letters, recounting the dinner gatherings that Mr. Epstein regularly hosted at his palatial townhouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel, and his wife noted the great diversity of guests. There is no limit to your curiosity, they wrote in their message, which was compiled with others in January 2016. Mind you, this is years after his conviction. And there's also photos of Ehud Barak entering this lair post-conviction. You are like a closed book to many of them, but you know everything about everyone.
Which is why he's dead.
Literally. Or just not here. Maybe not dead, but just not here. Pretend dead. The media mogul Mortimer Zuckerman suggested ingredients for a meal that would reflect the culture of the mansion. A simple salad and whatever else would enhance Jeffrey's sexual performance. Not going to make
watermelon Red Bull.
I was going to say fava beans and Chianti.
Yeah.
And the director, Woody Allen, of all people, described how the dinners reminded him of Dracula's castle, where Lugosi has 3 young female vampires who service the palace. I will read some of this letter.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Who service the place.
Yeah. That's quite
Think about
weird.
That one. We're not talking about serving drinks, folks.
Quite weird. So this is, I'll read some of this letter, alleged letter from Woody Allen. Being neighbors, my wife, Soon Yi, and I have been invited for dinner many times. Always accept, always interesting. Wide variety of interesting people at every dinner, just about. Politicians, scientists, teachers, magicians, comedians, intellectuals, journalists, an entomologist, a concert pianist. Just think about that list of people, and who pops into your mind. The ones we know about. What was it? Who was that comedian? Chris Tucker, we know is a part of the Epstein flight log. Yeah, exactly. We know David Blaine for magicians.
Yeah.
We know Stephen Hawking for scientists. I mean, you can name countless politicians. Bill Clinton, I'm sure, jumps right into everyone's mind, but not the only one. Anyhow, Woody Allen says, it's always interesting, and the food is sumptuous and abundant. Lots of dishes, plenty of choices, numerous dissects, it's missing an R, well served. I say well served. Often it's by some professional houseman, and just as often by several young women reminding one. There's lots of typos in this.
I think he typed this up on a typewriter,
Yeah, this is
which
legit.
seems like something Woody Allen would have done.
It for sure does. It for sure
Dear
does.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I was gonna do my Woody Allen, but I wasn't even gonna try. But yeah,
Damn it.
exactly.
But he actually physically signed it at the bottom. It's classic.
Exactly.
I digress.
Reminding one of Castle Dracula, where Lugosi has 3 young female vampires who service the place. Add to this that Jeffrey lives in a vast house alone. One can picture him sleeping in damp earth.
What?
Remember, this is a transhumanist who wanted to live forever, and I'll get more into that in the next segment of this part. But back to the food, Woody Allen says, dependably a fine dinner, but this was not always the case. In fact, the first time we came over, it was a very different story. We were invited with a list of accomplished types, men and women in journalism, in TV, even royalty. We were ushered up to the living room where everyone sat around prior to dinner being served and chatted. No drinks were served. You could get one if you asked for one. That should have been the first clue. When the meal was put out downstairs, it was meager. So meager, my wife, the one sitting next to her, kept mumbling, "Is this it? Is this all we're getting? After I leave, I may have to go to a restaurant." We didn't want to say anything when we came the next time, but oh my goodness. But my wife did say, in that tactful way she has, there is going to be more food, isn't there? So it goes on about food. I'm not going to bore you with the whole Woody Allen thing. He does sign it there at the end. People are taking note of the fact that he considers this like Dracula's lair. Is that just him being funny, or did he know something else? But Mr. Epstein's prized property was no gloomy Transylvanian fortress, New York Times reports. He had spent years turning the 7-story, 21,000 square foot townhouse into a place where he could flaunt and deepen his connections to the rich and powerful, even as hints of his dark side lurked within, according to previously undisclosed photos and documents showing how he lived in his later years. Since Mr. Epstein's death in federal custody in 2019, which was ruled a suicide, many mysteries about his life have remained unsolved. How did he amass a 9-figure fortune? And why did so many powerful men continue to fraternize with him long after he became a registered sex offender? The White House had pledged to release details about the federal investigations into Mr. Epstein and his associates. But this summer, the Trump administration backpedaled. You see, now they're trying to get into how we can turn this on Trump, which rightfully so. You know how I feel about this. But these guys are coming at it from their own angle because they're trying to install, Gavin Newsom as president. The ensuing right-wing outrage has threatened to splinter the Make America Great Again movement, from whom Mr. Epstein is a central figure in conspiracy theories and has put Mr. Trump on the defensive like few other issues.
Do you think it's splintered? I don't think it's...
Do I think MAGA splintered? I do think to some degree it is.
I think it happened for like a week.
I think there are people who are still upset. And, I see a lot of people, like I said, it was a week or two ago, I spent some time talking to a lot of people offline in my travels from here back to New York. And there's a lot of people who are not online like we are, who I'm asking them, do you care about this? And they do care about this. But again, I also know crazy people. But I think people are concerned. I don't think they're going to not vote Republican. I don't think anyone's going to start voting Democrat all of a sudden because of the Epstein stuff. But I do think it's been massively demoralizing for this administration to be confronted with this massive conspiracy that they've campaigned on, because it's not like they'll come back. People who are super MAGA will come back and be like, well, he didn't campaign on releasing the files, but he did campaign on obliterating the deep state. And that was Agenda 47, part of it. Those are his words, obliterating the deep state. And this is a direct connection to that deep state, to that invisible network of these sinister forces working behind the scenes that puppeteer our government. So I do think people are massively demoralized. Whether it's fractured, I don't know. But it does seem like this has really thrown Trump off his game. Like, he keeps calling it a hoax. I know, a lot of people understand when he says hoax, he's probably just talking about the files and how it's been inflated into this whole new situation now that's been weaponized against him with this. But it has been a horrible rollout of like totally mismanaged release of from the binders, which was a total joke, to Cash going on Rogan saying one thing, not knowing a lot of other key details, to Bondi doing all her stuff that seems to be in conflict with what Cash is saying, and then Bongino saying things and like these little teases of, if you've seen what I've seen, I'll never be the same again. And perhaps, but all of that, everyone trying to gaslight the American people into believing maybe he acted alone, maybe he wasn't part of any intelligence. It has had an effect on the people. And I don't think it's going to affect votes, but I do think they're not doing a very good job at it. And, Trump's even going on about it today. They're calling it, there was a report today about this alleged meeting happening between Vance, Bondi, Susie Wiles, and Kash Patel, and I think I'm missing the other person, Todd Blanche. And, that seemed to be a story, but again, it was a story in news outlets that suck. And then J.D. Vance later today said that was a fake story. The story said they were all going to meet at Vance's house at the Naval Observatory and talk about Epstein. So obviously it seemed, unless Vance is lying, which is possible, I don't think so in this case. I think it was another one of these planted stories to just keep driving a wedge into MAGA. But I don't think that needs to happen for the wedge to be there. I think this has been massively mishandled. And, whether or not it's splintered, I guess we'll find out during midterms. There's a lot of really good things. I like the ICE stuff, and I know a lot of people do. That stuff we voted for. But this is really important, and it seems to not be going away. And it seems like they don't know what they're doing. Maybe there's something we don't know, and maybe there's something they do know, which is why they have to lie to us, which I don't like at all, especially when they're telling us that they are the most transparent administration ever. I think they've kind of weaponized the idea of transparency against us.
And the dragging of the shit outward is just, it's got to come to an end. I was talking... Yep. Me and Phil were standing outside the studio a couple of weeks ago talking about this, and I forget, I think Elad was there with us, and we were discussing something about it, and
yep.
I remember I turned to Phil and I said, honestly, I just want to get this shit over with already. Like, let's just get this shit over with already and move on.
Right.
Like, is really all I think we really need to do. But, like, with the way this is playing out, it seems like it's going to continue dragging on, which it has been since, this administration took office too. Since
the first time.
These newly elected officials, FBI, everything like that, all took office. It's just been turtles on the ground, So
I don't think there will be any answers that satisfy anybody because it's so big and so insane, and we know so much about the connections. The network is so big. I don't think anything's going to satisfy anyone. And it's going to be hard for anyone to believe anything. So it's going to be hard to move on from it. What I think could help is them trying to be more transparent. And like we've talked about a lot, when it comes to these testimonies, I think we need to see them. A lawyer would obviously disagree with that. And people who know what it's like to interrogate people would say, well, we can't be doing that because we got to do it in private for this and that. But if you want the American public back on your side, because this is becoming a bipartisan issue, except the people on the left are using it in a different way. It's a cudgel for them. And for the people on the right, or so-called right, or the libertarians, they see this as like this is part of the deep state that you promised to obliterate thing, and we want to see more. So, I think trying to get more people in front of a camera so that people can observe them answering questions would do a lot. And then we can kind of judge for ourselves, but no answer is going to satisfy anybody.
No, which is why we're getting shit like we're looking at right now. Like, oh, here's his mansion. Oh,
here's photos in his mansion.
Here's a letter that has absolutely no context whatsoever written by Woody Allen. Like, it's just shit to keep the fire going.
Which is why I'm also suspicious of that letter. I mean, maybe it's real, but a lot of this stuff is clearly trying to confirm any bias we might have about Epstein. See, even Woody Allen, someone with a very shady past, extremely shady, weird dude, says Epstein's like Dracula. And now it's like, oh, okay, now the New York Times isn't lying. They're telling me exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's why we should be suspicious of it.
The more that they can conflate things, the more time it gives you to draw your own authentic, uninformed opinion about
100%.
what actually happened. Because
100%.
everyone on the internet is a fucking expert now. So
The other thing that's in this article, before we hop to the next part of this Epstein story that I just want to touch on quickly, is they talk about things that haven't been talked about in a while in mainstream sources, corporate sources, about the cameras being in the house, pointing at the beds, stuff that was said early on when Epstein was in jail the second time before he died. So there's stuff like that. But let's scroll through the article and just show them the pictures. If you guys haven't seen it, in the pictures, clearly also trying to be political, but we see, the Clintons, the Pope, which is a photo we've seen already of Epstein and the Pope. I think it's Epstein, Maxwell, and the Pope. There you go. You see Hillary Clinton in her skin suit. You see, if you scroll down a little bit, you see this loving photo of two friends, Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. Look at this. Just two guys. That's his buddy that Epstein had, put in a painting in a blue dress and red heels. That blue dress might remind people of someone that Clinton had some extramarital affairs with. Who else we got in these photos? We have the Trumps. You see Melania. You see Trump. Somewhere in here you see Steve Bannon and Bill Gates, I think, which is a weird one.
look at that one in the top left corner.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's him.
There's another one of Trump.
Yep.
It looks like the exact same photo, just cut down.
Yeah.
That's like the exact same image.
Yep.
That's
so there's
okay.
the Times,
They
yes.
blew it up. I'm crazy.
Yep. No. It's interesting that they
was
did
like,
this
hang
and that
on.
they knew that. Like they knew that this was this photo that existed.
Yeah,
but
because Ghislaine is cut out in his version
Isn't
on
that-
his desk.
Isn't that weird? And we do know, allegedly, we do know that his last phone call from prison on the night he died was to his girlfriend. His girlfriend at that time was not Ghislaine. It was Karina Shuliak.
Huh.
So maybe there's a reason for that. Who knows? So you see all these photos. There's other photos of inside the house. You see the strange blue and white checkered floor. I am sure that reminds people of a place on an island. Very, very bizarre. You see the stuff. He had a taxidermied tiger. So there's that. There's the Manhattan residence, which is super weird. We know they raided it. And I just quickly want to just go over a little bit, because we don't talk about it enough, Zorro Ranch. And that's Jeffrey Epstein's 8,000-acre New Mexico ranch, which in 2021 listed for $27.5 million. It's 8,000 acres, huge. And the house, the mansion, was 30,000 square feet. This is a huge place. Look at this. For those who are just listening, see a landing pad. You see a giant mansion. We are in the
That's
desert.
not a crop circle. We don't.
Ooh.
That's not a crop circle.
of a
You guys
crop
know.
circle. Evidence of a crop circle. Epstein was an alien.
Epstein had aliens coming to the ranch.
So I just wanted to remind people, this was not rated. Zorro Ranch was not rated. Jeffrey Epstein called Zorro Ranch the baby farm. He called it the baby farm because he wanted to have 20 women pregnant at all times. Because Jeffrey Epstein was a transhumanist who believed he wanted to seed the entire population with his seed.
That's a super creepy name.
Super creepy. So I just want people to remember, why does that exist? A lot of people like to point out that it's about an hour away from Los Alamos lab where they made the atom bomb. And maybe it's just he liked it over there. I think Tom Ford also owns property right next to him. It's weird that it's there, not rated.
So the other thing that we have here, I want to jump into since we're getting close here.
Yep.
There was a mention of people inquisitive about where he was getting some of his money from.
Yeah.
And we have this too. This is on a tweet from Owen Benjamin. I don't know where he sourced this from. But
there is some. We can use this whole thread. It's great.
This was fact checked by Grok too, so that's the funny part about this. So in August 2008, shortly after Epstein began serving an 18-month jail term in Florida, the Zorro Trust claimed a winning Powerball ticket purchased at a convenience store in Altus, Oklahoma, for an $85 million jackpot, receiving approximately $29.3 million after taxes as a lump sum. Epstein had a financial entity named Zorro Trust, which he used for donations to politicians in New Mexico, where he owned a property called Zorro Ranch. The timing of the win, one day after Epstein's incarceration, began on July 1st, 2008, and a reported computer glitch that delayed the televised lottery draw fueled suspicions of fraud or money laundering. Grok confirms this, as Paul Dreyer ran this, and says the claim is accurate. They did win that Powerball. They did take that amount of money after the taxes. The dates were correct. The only thing that they said was that no fraud was proven.
Yep.
At the end of this.
Do you guys believe that's just a coincidence? The day after Epstein goes to jail in 2008, another Zorro Trust wins the lottery?
The idea is that he goes to jail and makes $29 million for it.
Right.
And they found a way to funnel him the money.
Honestly, wouldn't put it past them. I mean,
I wouldn't
know,
have paid attention to something like that anyway. That's one of those things. This is one of those things that would have only came out over time. No one's going to notice that shit right away.
Owen is like a magnet for these ridiculously absurd coincidences in the world, whether it's names. You know, the first time Owen was on this show, we went on this whole rant about just names and how they're funny and like why certain people are named this. And, you know, like my example was an Anthony Weiner, you know. Of course, Anthony Weiner's the guy sending dick pics. What are the odds, right? It's ridiculous.
And his excuse was, well, with a name like Weiner, it kind of goes with the territory. I get it.
Okay, okay, Goblin.
Dude, his excuses were so bad, too. He's just like, you know, there's pictures out there of me. I don't know what pictures there are out in the world of me. You know, I don't know what's been doctored.
Evil.
And it was just like, dude.
He's evil.
Come on, man. Like, you tweeted a picture of your nuts to like 40,000 followers. Right. You're an idiot.
Well, he said he was hacked. I won't derail too much because I want to talk about another thing, but like I just have to say, because I've been thinking about Andrew Breitbart a whole bunch lately, because we're like in this world now
Big
where
government
like Breitbart, yeah, dude, like exactly. Breitbart created a lot of the stuff that we're all doing today. Like without Andrew Breitbart, what he created, I think, you know, he gave birth to a lot of the stuff. You could say Rush Limbaugh as well.
It's like one of Michelle Bachmann's like favorite sources to go to,
yeah.
isn't it?
I mean, he was with the Tea Party in the beginning. I'd be very curious to see what he thinks of all those people today. You know, because he did champion Palin, he did champion, I want to say Cruz, and Cruz is, as we know, he died at that Tucker Carlson interview. But
that's where that's where the Koch brothers were like heavily involved too, with Citizens United.
Oh yeah, that whole story is insane too.
Bankrolling politicians in massive sums.
Yep.
Man.
What Breitbart did was he turned the entire Saul Alinsky playbook against the left after having left the left. Although he was more of a moderate, even though back then they considered him like far right extremist.
They were like using the Tea Party as a front for it too. Like, it was just like hijacking the Republican Party.
Yep.
You know, and it was just what the hell.
Like, but if you haven't seen this, dude, and if you guys out there haven't seen this, I highly recommend finding the video of, because Breitbart broke the Wiener story. I had to. He broke the Wiener story.
You could have left story out of it. I was fine with that.
I know. He broke it, and Anthony Weiner denied all. They said he was hacked, and then Anthony Weiner had a press conference where he was going to address all this because it was blowing up on Twitter, and Breitbart wound up going to the press conference before Anthony Weiner and jumped on stage and took questions because he was being accused of hacking all this stuff. It's a great video. Highly recommend looking it up when you get a chance. But I can't not think of Anthony Weiner. Think about how Breitbart destroyed that whole thing. It was amazing. But Baby Farm, this guy was insane. Why was it not rated? What was going on there? There was like thousands and thousands of acres that's associated with that property that also belonged to the state, and the state had to get permission from Epstein to even go there with a lot of advance notice. What's that about? And what I was going to say earlier about his transhumanism is that this is stuff you can go look up as well some other time. But he was obsessed with living forever, as a transhumanist would, and he wanted to freeze both his head and I'll just say his nether region. and he wanted to cryogenically freeze all that so he could live on into the future. And then there's so many weird stories associated with Zorro Ranch. Like there was an investigation a few years ago into who owned Zorro Ranch after he died. And there was the investigation from I think it was like a local news company outlet found out that this church called Love Bliss from Florida owned it. They found a deed, and this guy who was the pastor of that church turned out to be like a real creep, like had been in jail for stalking, weirdo. Then it came out that he falsified that deed and he didn't own anything of it. I think he might be in jail now for falsifying those documents, among other things. But there's just so many weird offshoots of that whole story, plus like skeletal remains of young women found within like a big radius outside of Zorro Ranch. I don't think immediately outside, but around. And there are people who theorize that those remains might have something to do with victims of Epstein. But there's no evidence of any of that or anything. This is because we have no answers. And because we're not getting real transparency, everyone, the internet, has been allowed to just run wild with their imagination because, we don't know what the heck is going on. We know what he's been convicted of. We know why he was in jail. We know a lot of these connections. We know that this guy infiltrated every institution. Woody Allen labeled that as such in his letter. And now we sit and wait, and every day there is something new in the news. But before we get to phone calls, let's pull up the Tulsi stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say we should touch on the Tulsi thing here too really
Definitely.
quick while we got some time.
Yep.
Let's go to, hang on, I'm going to start with this.
Yeah.
And then we'll pivot to the other thing here. So President Trump says he can't reveal who operated the mystery drones over New Jersey. And this goes into kind of paraphrases here that I can't tell you who it was and what it was. I'd love to tell you actually, but it's not cut. It's not a big deal, ... It's not a problem at all. End parentheses. So I want to run this video really quick and then we'll get into it.
Yes. I wanted to ask you about drones. We had the issue in New Jersey before the election where there are all these people thought UFOs or an attack of the killer drones. And I believe you're doing something about.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I know I can't tell you who it was and what it was, but
yeah.
I can't really tell you. I'd love to tell you actually, but it's not a big deal.
It's not something frightening.
No, but I just, so obviously it's something that I know about, and it's not a problem at all.
It was
that kills me.
What?
This is we've seen similar write-offs so far this year.
Dude, I can't take it anymore. Yeah, I can't take it. This was a kind of a big deal. It was weird, and he said we were going to get to the bottom of this. And we've heard multiple official stories about this. It was Chinese drones. There's theories about it being Palantir. I think also, for sure, there were just people doing their own droning in the skies. It's bizarre. And this isn't I don't think this is a brand new interview. This is, I think, from
this is
June, right?
older. But the reply that Tulsi has to this is newer based off of this. So this is what I ultimately want to get to.
The strange objects over New Jersey were drones.
I still have a lot of questions around that.
Yeah.
I've heard what the public official line is. I just personally still have a lot of questions that are unanswered.
Yeah.
So pause
because
that.
it wasn't just New Jersey. It was happening in different parts of the country.
Great point. Go now. Scroll back up to Trump. He said he knows what it is, and it's no big deal at all, right? Like he says he knows.
I can't tell you who it is or what it was. I'd love to tell you actually, but it's not up.
And he cuts off. He cuts off. So
why wouldn't it? I mean, I can understand in some situations where it's not up to the president, but you can't. You're edging, dude. Like, what do you do? You can't edge people like
drone
that.
edging. You're edging.
Son of a bitch.
So Tulsi's whole job is about communication between the agencies. If Trump's saying he knows something and she's saying she doesn't, I mean, what do you guys think? Is this a problem? Was it just all, was it a hoax? Were we crazy? My sisters were in Jersey. They don't give a crap about any of this weird stuff. And they saw crazy drones. They're calling me because they know their brother's insane. And they're like, there is a giant drone flying over our apartment every night. And it was like a size of a Jeep. And they were taking videos of it. And it was in the fog. And I was like, trying not to sound insane. I was like trying to be grounded. Like, do you usually have is there an airport nearby? Is it something like that? And they're like, we never see planes that close, and it's been happening a lot, and they're seeing it on their drives to work, and it's a bunch of people. I mean, you guys saw the footage. There's a ton of weird things happening in Jersey and all over towards the end of last year. It was crazy. So, and then we get Tulsi in the same interview talking about UFOs. We can pull that up. Mm-hmm. I want to see the video before I read.
I don't know what this clip is. This is like 19 seconds.
Okay, maybe it's just her being asked about it.
It's probably something along those lines, but we'll run it.
Or they're going to rickroll us.
I don't know what the hell that was, but that was definitely a rickroll.
Yep.
Moving on.
Well, I'll read it because the reason I thought the video is interesting, if you watch it, is that when she's asked about aliens and UFOs, she laughs. And I'm just kind of tired of everyone, like, it's a joke. I know, it is a joke to some people, but like this administration has been confronted with all these giant, what used to be fringe conspiracies, and now we're constantly talking. This administration is constantly being forced to talk about pedophile networks that have infiltrated the government, and UFOs and aliens, and it comes up all the time on mainstream outlets.
Okay, I got it now.
Oh yeah, let's see it. Let's see your response.
Some very strange videos that look like they are, unidentified flying objects. Is there anything in the files that you think you could find or you have found?
Nothing that I'm prepared to talk about today.
Okay, so that's after what I was talking about. In the first part of this, in the videos where she's asked about it, and she goes, my husband's off camera pumping his fist because he loves us, and they laugh about it, which is, it's whatever. But it shows me that maybe there's really nothing they're taking that seriously, or it's not that serious to begin with. Maybe there is nothing. Maybe they just know it's China and Palantir and Lockheed Martin taking joyrides. I mean, and also she's got a ton of stuff going on outside of like UFOs. Is probably just like, why are you even asking about this? I've been put on a watch list, and now I'm running I'm the head of DNI. The last person who had this job was a psychopath put in by Biden, Avril Haines, who covered up corruption in the CIA because there were agents hacking CIA computers to cover corruption. I mean, that lady was insane. She helped make the kill list for Obama and John Brennan. So like, she is in a crazy situation, and I understand that on top of all this probably seems ridiculous.
Probably. I could see that.
But that all said, I mean, I love that we're seeing these conversations being had at like the highest level.
I think she's more really enjoying the fact that she knew that she was going to be asked that question, and that's the answer that she's had to rehearse multiple times to make sure it was bulletproof. Right.
So it's either, is this a joke? We know there's nothing, but we can't really say anything yet because maybe we have to believe that story about the Pentagon making up stories about aliens to cover up Lockheed Martin technology, or maybe that was a fake story to cover up the fact that there are extraterrestrials or demons and they know about it and they can't tell us yet. Or they're being fed information to slowly get us all prepared for Project Bluebeam, where they fake us with an alien invasion that's not real. What do we got there?
This is great, though. The DNI noted that while she has nothing she is prepared to talk about regarding the issue, her team will be transparent with the public when the time comes.
Yes. Tulsi, you're going to give out binders. We're going to get alien binders, UFO binders. We're due for another congressional hearing about UFOs. It's funny thing about the congressional hearing with UFOs, it keeps trending on Twitter in like the UFO community. I see big accounts sharing the congressional hearing like it's happening right now, but they keep sharing the same one from months ago. So I don't know. They're ramping up. People are begging for answers for this stuff. Clearly, what was once taboo is now being asked on all the major platforms directly into the face of all these people in the administration. I know President Trump isn't much of a UFO believer, but I did have the opportunity maybe 3 or 4 years ago to ask Don Jr. in an old Green Room episode in the old studio. I was like, if your father becomes president again, can you please declassify this stuff? And he is a big believer of something going on. I don't want to say he's a believer of aliens, but he's like, something obviously weird is going on. And he's like, yeah, I'll press him on it. A lot of other things happen then between then and now. But they keep saying they're going to release stuff. It really has only been, 7 months now? But we've had a lot of promises, a lot of things that should have happened sooner. And we're seeing this like really bad rollout of everything. But like I say, I don't want to take away from there have been wins, and I'm stoked on ICE. We should deport more people. I'm stoked on, there's definite things I'm stoked about. Bringing jobs back to America, clearly great. The wall, the borders being secure, clearly great. We've had on 6-7 Kevin talk about his reporting at the border. I've reported from the border in Yuma. That was a complete disaster. These are things that had to be fixed to help slowly save this country. So these things I know maybe seem more esoteric to a lot of people and like the general voter, but I do find them to be really important. The Epstein thing, most of all, just because of what I was saying earlier with the way this connects to the deep state and to Trump's campaigning on Agenda 47 and part of that was to obliterate the deep state, So there you have it, people. I'd love to hear your thoughts, what you think about all of this. What do you think about robot rabbits supposedly destroying Burmese pythons in the Florida Everglades?
We don't know that they're destroying them yet.
We don't. They're just
we don't
like
know what they're doing in the Everglades.
They have heat signatures.
They're down there and they look like real rabbits, but they're not. We know that they're doing that effectively from what we've been told.
They're just gonna roll up on the python and be like, "We pranked you. You've been punked. You ate a fake rabbit. Haha."
I mean, if these things did actually turn out to be IEDs, think about how effective that would be also in like jungle warfare.
Yeah, guerrilla warfare.
Hey, little bunny.
But what if they escape? And now we've got like rogue robot rabbits into
then we
like, the
have
villages.
to make rogue Burmese pythons to come in and battle the rogue rabbits.
Yeah, or they're gonna send in drones, and
The
just
snake
like soup
to
them
my
up.
mongoose or the mongoose to my snake.
That's good. That's good.
What the
Oh
hell?
my gosh, that's amazing. So yeah, what do you guys think about all this stuff? The Lair, Zorro Ranch, these transparency, these answers, these questions we have. Where are you all at with that? And we should get to some callers.
Yeah, let's do it.
And while we do that, I will look at you guys up in the chat. Semi-articulate female. Therefore, the robot dogs. Yep. Renee says that's terrifying. Stephen Webb. Rogan is so close to coming to Christ. Yeah. A lot of Christ talk on Rogan. Pretty sick. Renee, IED bunny rabbits. You better watch out. They are coming for you. Dances with Aardvark says, Revenge of Harambe. Pour one out for
Shit.
Harambe. That's when it all went south.
That reminds me of my fantasy team one year. I named it Diggs Out for Harambe for Stephon Diggs.
That's awesome.
That was a great year.
That's awesome. Oh, man.
Rip Harambe. He was one of the real ones.
Yeah, he was a real one. Dances with Aardvarks also says, those wascally wabbits. Stephen Webb, Shane, my orb story is legit. I don't know if I missed that. Did you send it to me? If you did, let me know. Renee says Rogan actually goes to church. Yeah, that has been said. Pretty cool. Love to see it. But who we got? Who we got in the chat? In the Zoom chat?
We're gonna bring in Kim Steele.
Strong name.
Kim, do you have a mic? All right. Now can you unmute it? Fantastic. Hello.
I do.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
I am well, thank you.
Thanks for being here. What is going on tonight? Do you have a story for us?
I wanted to tell the story about a local ghost place.
All right, let's hear about it.
Well, I lived in a house in Martinsburg that was owned by my in-laws called the Miller's House.
Okay.
And if you go down King Street and you head west out of town, there's down Tuscarora. There's a road, the first road after the bridge to 81. If you go down there about 1.5 miles, there's a big old stone house on top of a hill. And that's one of the oldest homes in Martinsburg. and I actually lived in that house for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And my in-laws owned it, and we were in transition before we bought our house out here in Harpers Ferry. And I had heard stories from my in-laws, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, that they'd be down in the kitchen and then they would hear somebody holler their name. And when they went to check to see what the person wanted, there was nobody there. Well, you know, I was like, okay, yeah, right. Well, I've always believed in spirits because I speak to them and see them. So it didn't surprise me. But when I moved into the back room in this house, my husband and I had a room in the back part of the house. There was actually what they called servant stairs that went to this room, the bedroom we slept in.
Were they like little, like a narrow path?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the slaves or the people working there, the servants, would go up and down so they didn't use the main stairways in the house so they weren't seen.
Yep.
And as I was living there, I was met by a spirit. And she was a very sweet little 9-year-old girl. And she had fallen on those back stairs and broken her neck. And she died there.
How do you know that?
Because she talked to me.
And tell us how that conversation went. How did it start? Were you startled? And
well, it started because she liked listening to my radio. I like to sleep with the radio on at all times, so I would shut it off in the morning, and she was like, "Please leave it on." She spoke to me. So, but it's not a weird phenomenon for me. I'm one of those people that are blessed to be able to actually touch spirit.
What do you mean by that?
They talk to me.
Okay. And when they talk to you, is this something you can see?
Sometimes I see. When I was in Gettysburg, I was able to see the battlefield ghosts out by the bridge. But in general, it's just vocal.
When you do see them, can you describe what they look like?
It's mostly just shape. In the nighttime, they kind of come up as gray. In the daytime, it's like white.
Okay. So tell us about this.
Just outlines mostly.
So what were you listening to on the radio typically that this
Well, I would
like?
listen to the local Martinsburg radio station. And she liked the music. So when we would get up in the morning, I would shut the radio off, but then she started asking me to leave it on, so I would. And I left it on for her, and I lived in that house for 6 months. And I mean, she was just a very benign person, but that house is very special because it was literally part of the Underground Railroad. And they had a stopping place, so there were hidey holes down in the basement in some of the outbuildings where they would hide slaves and then help them get into Maryland. So it was kind of a fascinating house, and it's still there.
Yeah, I think I know
imagine.
what you're talking about. I think I can.
It's big and it's up on top of a hill.
Yep.
I got married there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
My husband, and we will celebrate our 28th year on Saturday.
Oh wow! Congrats.
So,
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I also want to point out, I think I've met you.
Oh. Where?
I was at the podcast or the down in DC, the one with the liberal guy.
Maybe Brandon.
Yeah, I met Brandon.
Okay, you met Brandon. Yeah, I wasn't there, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's great that you went there.
I actually went up on stage and spoke because Alex was trying to get me to get in on a joke about the moon with him.
He knew you were the one to talk to about the moon, huh?
Well, I drove Uber, and one time I took Alex and his girlfriend back to the hotel they were staying in when they were here visiting once.
Oh,
and the
funny.
whole trip he talked to me about how the moon landing didn't happen and all this stuff. So it was kind of a joke between us.
Good job, Alex. Proselytizing about the fake moon, even in an Uber.
It's a rock.
I'm not driving right now because I got in a bad accident in June and
Oh no, I'm sorry.
haven't had my car replaced yet.
Oh,
So,
sheesh.
but yeah, I'm local, and there's ghosts all over here.
Well, Yeah, this whole area is wild. I mean, this part of West Virginia, between Harper's Ferry and then where Maryland is with Antietam, one of the bloodiest
Yeah, no,
battles.
Antietam's really cool, but Gettysburg was probably one of the spookier places I went.
Yeah.
We went down to the bridge at night, and we did one of those ghost hunting tours. Not the ghost, here's ghosts, here goes. The one where they actually give you the equipment so you can try to listen and stuff.
Okay.
Well, my family's very aware that I can speak to spirits, and they're all carrying this equipment around. And I walk into one of the houses, and the lady's just starting to explain that some lady had murdered her husband there. And I walked in between the living room and dining room, and there was like an archway, and I stood right there, and I said, "This is where she killed him." And the lady's like, "How did you know that?" I'm like, "Well, she told me." So it's just freaky stuff like that.
When
that
did this?
has
When
always
did you?
happened.
When did you realize you could talk to ghosts?
When I was very young. Yeah, I don't seek them out. They just talk to me.
Do you remember the first time this happened to you?
Yeah. I grew up in a really tiny town in northern Wisconsin. I'm from up north. So we went to this little tiny church out in the country in this little town called Lorraine. And used to, of course, go to vacation Bible school and stuff there. A lot of my relatives were buried there. And so, like the first time, I was sitting on some steps having lunch at vacation Bible school. And one of my ancestors started talking to me, which was kind of weird. But I was probably like 7.
What is?
It's not scary if you're congenial to it. And I've not met, I don't speak with demonic type folks.
So like they don't
completely-
you don't feel like anything that talks to you has malicious intent.
Correct. I won't speak to anything that I feel has malicious intent.
So how does this affect your view of the afterlife? It sounds like you were raised Christian.
Everything is spirit. Everything is spirit.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when you die, your energy, right? And energy and spirit are basically the same thing, in my opinion. So when you die, your spirit or your energy just goes back into the ethos. And then you can decide whether you want to come back into a new baby or not.
So keep going.
can-
Sorry.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's like you make that decision.
How does this line up with the idea of heaven or hell for you?
Well, I think that people make their own heaven or hell. You know? I mean, if you have a tortured soul, you're in hell, right? But if you don't have a tortured soul and you're good with yourself, then you're basically living within your own heaven.
So your outlook.
But I also believe in a higher power, so it's all controlled by someone.
So your
you know?
outlook is that you die and then we have all our own personal heavens or hells, and
you choose whether you want to live another lifetime, if you want to do it here or on another planet or another whatever, you get to choose.
Are these
Because-
conversations you've had with some of these ghosts?
No, this was all stuff that I discovered on my own.
It's kind of like Summerland.
Well, the thing is, okay, I live with what you guys would call MPD.
I don't know what
Or-
that is.
I guess they have different words for it now. I'm kind of older. But when I was growing up, they called it MPD. I have multiple personality disorder. But basically, it's just that I have 4 spirits living inside one body. We all chose to be here because of trauma. And so a lot of people don't understand that, and they mistake what I'm saying with me being insane. But I'm not Sybil, you know. Sybil was a shatter, what people call a shatter. But no, I've been like this since I was like 5 years old and lived a completely normal life and have never lost my mind. Or I mean, you got divorced once, but he deserved it.
How do you differentiate between a multiple personality within you and a ghost?
Well, basically everything is a ghost, right? I mean, if we're all just spirit, then everybody can be or was at one time what we would call a ghost, because ghosts are just spirits.
And so you believe
Spirits are just energy.
and you believe that these different personalities within you are a ghost?
They're just
Different-
spirits that chose to come help when I was in need of help, and they stayed because I asked them to.
And does this happen at birth? This happens throughout your life.
It happened because I was extremely badly abused from like the age of 4 to 7.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I asked for help, and the one of us that we all have our own names, so the one that we call Sasha, she came and she helped me. And then I was sad. I was like 5 years old, and she brought a 5-year-old to come and be my friend. Well, she kind of took over the running of the body. And we all like have our own rooms in my head. You know, it's the way we see it. It's like everybody lives in their own space. And we can all come and go as we want to.
Can you differentiate between who's having what thoughts?
Oh yeah, we have conversations with each other. I mean, people from the outside could probably explain it to you better than we can, because this is just normal for us, right?
We've had a caller on this show talk about having an experience where he was entering other people and lived multiple lives, and sometimes he seemed more like a passenger, according to his story, that he was a passenger in other people. I always think of it when I hear this as a being John Malkovich type of story. You ever see that movie?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and it's kind of fascinating. When you live this way, I mean, most people would shut their mind down and not allow another spirit to be with them unless they were in a bad need of somebody to help them. And I think that a lot of the people that live with multiple personality, if you look at their life, you'll see that they had serious trauma at some point where they needed help, because the one mind could not deal with what was going on, and they needed somebody to help them. And I think that studies have shown that most people that they say are MPD, that they've had trauma of some kind happen to them. And I just don't find it that unusual. I mean, my husband, I have 4 sons, and I mean, all my good friends, most of my family,
Right.
everybody knows that, and they can tell who they're talking to by the look in our eyes, the color of my eyes, the
Your
tone
eyes
of,
change?
yeah.
Whoa.
A couple of us have lighter blue eyes, and my darker personality, her name's Triss, she has kind of really dark blue eyes, and that comes, she's generally only around if there's some kind of controversy going on, you know, something that gets ugly. So she's like the enforcer, I guess you would call it.
There is something about trauma and people experiencing horrible trauma that opens them up to some other wild spiritual stuff. I mean, last night and a lot of nights we talk about the Hat Man and how the shadow entity who shows up mostly watching kids during some or around some sort of traumatic event in their lives. It's spooky stuff.
Well, I think that the best part about being who that I wound up being is I'm not afraid of life, or I'm not afraid of death either, because I know that death isn't the end, because I can come and go as I want to.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes I just go run around, you know, I get sick of living here, so I'll just take off and take a vacation, you know, and then I come back. And, you know, my husband always knows when I'm here. Actually, Kim is not married to my husband. I'm Sasha, and I'm married to my husband.
Whoa. How does
Kim just allowed us to get married, to, you know, but Kim is not married to my husband.
so what does the marriage certificate look like?
Well, it's in Kim's name because that's legally who we have to be by law.
And then your husband's fine when another personality decides I gotta head out?
Yeah. I mean, he has problems if I'm not around because I'm his wife. You know, he doesn't like
Right.
it when I'm gone. but the others, it doesn't really bother them.
Wow.
I mean, I think that if you don't allow yourself to be driven crazy by what's going on in your own head, that you can successfully navigate what we've navigated over the years. And I mean, I'm 61 years old, and I've lived this way 55 years and have never had a problem. I'm not psychotic or crazy. I don't have to take drugs or do anything weird. I mean, this is just life for us, and it's just our reality of what life is. And I kind of like people to know about the whole spirit thing, because so many people are afraid of what comes next. And I just want people to know it's not scary, because you get to decide. I mean, you get to make up your mind what you want to do, whether you want to float around in the universe or if you want to come back and have another lifetime. 'Cause I'm sure you've heard stories of people that have told you that they've lived different lives, right?
Oh yeah, a ton of people with past lives and weird stories about, I know someone who's my age, and when he was a boy had memories of a bomber, being a bomber pilot in like World War
Yeah.
II, and
Yeah.
he knew
And completely
details.
probable too.
He knew exact
He
details
lived
of
that
stuff.
life.
It was wild.
Some people can remember it and some people can't. And I can remember some. I know that my husband and I knew each other before in a different lifetime, but we weren't partners or married. We just knew each other. I mean, I knew
wild.
that the minute I met him.
Wild.
So-
well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing this with us. We're gonna get to another caller now.
Oh, I'm
but-
sorry. I didn't mean to take up
No,
so
no,
much time.
no. It was great talking to you. And call back with more stories. We love local
it's fun.
ghost stories. And
Yeah, and I would recommend anybody go to Gettysburg if they're looking for ghosts, because there's really fun ones up there.
yeah, it's a crazy place. And Antietam.
All right.
And Harper's Ferry.
It was nice speaking with you,
You
Sean,
too.
and I really love your show. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good night.
Bye.
And we're off. Wild first caller. Didn't expect it to go that route.
We never do.
We never do. It's amazing. I love that she drove Alex Stein and Alex told her about the moon landing being fake. Wow.
I feel like I remember this woman from over the weekend.
Yeah.
She was super nice. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was hanging out in the back with us. But she bought like booty skateboards and stuff, had us sign all of them.
Incredible.
Like, super nice lady. Seemed pretty put together. She didn't get into anything crazy until she was like leaving. I said goodbye to her when we were outside, and she started talking about some crazy stuff.
awesome.
And I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Like, hey, call into the show. I didn't know any of that. Any of what we just got. That was all new information to me. So that was pretty intense.
And I know that stone house. I know that hill. It is interesting to now have some story to attach to it. And happy anniversary to her. That was wild. Who do we got next?
I want to try to get Dev in here again, because we weren't able to get Dev before for some crazy audio issue. Dev, can you activate your microphone?
Can you hear us?
I think this was the issue we had yesterday, too. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
What's up?
Yes, sir.
How's
Sorry,
it-
I had YouTube up and it was coming through my ears last night.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good, man. How are you? What's up?
Good, good. How are you guys doing?
We are great.
Good. Okay, so I will try to do a quick version of the story that I have, and we can get in depth if you guys choose to.
Cool.
I was talking about my addictions last night or whatever, but
Right.
I couldn't really get into it because it was doubling up or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
you said meth and then disappeared.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I'll get to that in a second. But
Cool.
the first thing that I was really addicted to was like this spice shit. They were selling it in the store for quite a while. Whenever I was like 18 years old, I'm like 32 now.
Yeah.
And they would sell it in these little gas stations, dude, and like it was like an alternative to weed if you were on probation. So I stay in Ohio, so like here in Ohio they were like really really strict against weed, and I was on probation, so I started doing that shit.
Yeah.
And needless to say, it like really really fucked up my life. Excuse my French, but it was like really really traumatic. It's important that I tell you guys that background a little bit, because like I feel like my friend group and I, because we were all doing it, could have possibly opened a portal to a lower vibrating dimension. An
Go on.
entity then binded itself to me and had plagued me over time. I didn't believe in spiritual stuff. I didn't believe in God. Like, I believed in a higher power, just not really. I was more leaning atheist than I was like agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
And from my point of view, I had done psychedelics. I had been experienced in those for a long time. And at the time, I believe we microdosed for about 3 months straight with acid. This is later, about 8 to 9 years after the spice experience, and that entity still followed me to that time. I like to experiment with drugs. Getting messed up used to be something I like to think about while I was experiencing the drugs. I would tell myself, okay, you're messed up. What can you learn from this experience? Because I always treated it like a sacred thing. I was doing, I didn't know when the next time might be, if ever, that I would do a psychedelic. So I used it like a spiritual experience. I had about 1 million ego deaths, and that's when real experiences started. COVID hits, and bam, the world's crazy. I decided to try meth around 2020. At this time, we were starting to get out of lockdowns, and everything seemed to be returning normal. Now, I did speed and stuff like that, like no problem. Cocaine, whatever. It didn't matter. Like, I didn't like expect anything. I didn't do like heroin or anything like that. So like I wasn't like doing down like super downers. But I did that for about a year, at the end of which I had the worst experience I've ever had before. The pain I was in, I can only describe as being the most pain that I've ever felt, will feel, and ever feel in my life.
Was it from doing? Was it from doing the meth, or were you trying to get off of it?
Yeah, actually, I was trying to get off of it. I actually was sober for a week when this started to happen.
Okay.
My girlfriend could just tell in my demeanor that I had completely changed, and so. I didn't believe in any conspiracy theories. I didn't believe in the government not having our best interest at heart. I was ignorant. Not believing doesn't mean, though, that I didn't possess knowledge of the subject. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting on the couch playing 2K basketball when a video popped up. I was also like watching an anime called Naruto at the time, and there was just a lot of stuff going on. So like it probably helped in like me having a possible schizophrenic break or whatever. I take all possibilities into consideration, because you have to with everything. Like I try to take all perspectives as well. So after a week of not doing it, that's when like I believe what happened, which was I believe that I was either abducted or the government had um, did that, like, voice to skull technology is what some people call it. And what happened, I looked up at the screen that my dad had started playing a video from, and it was called, it was a video from Pawn Stars. And this dude had brought a coin in from like ancient Rome or Greece, and Dionysus was on one of the sides. And as soon as I saw that, it like triggered me, and at that moment, like I was like the literal embodiment of that god. Everything about my life was being depicted by the description the guy was giving about who Dionysus was, and I freaked out. I realized later that we are like antennas, and if you push and pull your vibration, you resonate to channel frequency bands of dimensions we aren't supposed to frequent sometimes, if you get what I'm saying. The closest thing I can describe it as is another entity wanted to inhabit my body to possess me, which was like the abduction itself. It wasn't like an alien, unless they can like stop time, which is possible or whatever, and they like take you or whatever.
So we have 3 events here. You, as far as I can tell, you opened a portal. Did you see this portal? How did that?
I did
how
not.
Did that work?
Oh well, everything when we so we were in a graveyard. We were smoking this shit, dude. We used to visit the graveyard to like smoke weed and shit. So we didn't really think anything of it. But when we were there in the graveyard, which is this is a whole different experience. I was just trying to get through to like the most important things, but like when we smoked that stuff, like our buddy like left his body. He was gone. We tried to bring him back, but it was like his consciousness had completely like went to another dimension.
Like, did he collapse? Was his body working and he was out of it? So like unconscious?
His body wasn't working. He kept looking at my cousin and saying his name over and over again.
And this is in the graveyard when you believe you opened a portal. And then this leads to the entity. And is the entity that you think went into you is it connected to that event, or is this happening days, weeks later?
I lost you there. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
You said you had an encounter
Yep.
with an entity. Did this happen because of the portal, or is this something separate? Okay. And is this something you can see?
So it was like it wasn't like something you could see, you could just feel it. It was literally like we had opened up a black hole and something had came out and like snatched our buddy's consciousness, took it back with them. It came out with it, or like came back and then attached itself to probably all of us. And we just like, my friends don't realize it because they don't believe in the spiritual side of any of this. It's like nothing ever happened. Like it was like just another day in the park. I'm like, dude, what?
And did you notice a change in yourself? I mean, because you are doing drugs, so that's certainly going to mess with.
I did
everything
not
about
notice until after the event that I'm about to tell you changed my life.
Let's hear it.
I'm writing a book about it right now. Like it's up on the screen right now. But like everything that I'm about to say is important for, I believe, everybody to know, because it's like I was given information that I believe that I have to share with everybody, or else it's like I'm not doing my job. That's all.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I was standing in my dad's apartment. We were talking about something, and then out of nowhere, out of his mouth, the words he spoke, I could not believe he said. What he said was, "I knew one of you elongated skull-headed fuckers would break through eventually." And to this day, my dad does not claim to have said that at all. But what now I understand is things were happening to me that were really weird. Like, I was at work, I'm like a line cook or whatever, and the tickets were like literally changing uh, to where orders were like different um, different items on the order itself. And I was fucking up orders because of that. And even though I'm not like I'm sober at that point, like for a week, and it's plaguing me, man. It's like it's basically what the entity is telling me is like I needed to kill myself over and over and over again. But I knew that wasn't me talking to myself, because my uncle had killed himself, and I told myself years before when I was a little kid that I would never do that to my family because of what it did to us, if that makes sense. So,
So you're telling us about these different items, and something is happening. You're about to tell us about this big event.
So there was nowhere to go. I was stuck. Me and this entity. There were many more stories from these encounters, but the last one is important. I went to work on March 15th, 2021, and I remember this date. I remember it. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. Everything was normal, but the voices started. They started getting louder and louder until I was in so much pain from how loud the voices were that I didn't think I could stand it anymore. All this time not believing in the spirit and any spiritual stuff. I went to church as a kid, graduated catechism, all for my mom and my grandma mostly. I thought this stuff was ridiculously preposterous, honestly. That one experience changed my life. I hope the future sees the fruits of what humanity was gifted for the pain I suffered to receive this stuff. I believe in those my final moments before when I was having the most pain I've ever felt, I cried out to Jesus. What it seemed like was that I was in two places at once. I was at the restaurant I cook at, but I was also in this place spiritually, and I don't know how to call it. Other than it looked like, this is what it felt like. I can't I wasn't there or anything. I was still in my body, but like recollecting all of the things that I'm starting to remember now. This is what it felt like. It looked like. Other than it looked like an aqueduct, a Roman architecture with an unlimited amount of doors, all of which were open but blacked out. The building went up and there was no top. It was like infinity. An entity was standing in the doorway I was facing. I started to move, but it was like the floor was pulling me closer to it. It asked me, "Do you want to know?" My physical body said this. I not where my spirit was, I don't know, or whatever. And I said, "Do I want to know what?" And the entity asked, "How did you know?" And I said, "How did I know what?" And at that very moment, it was like I could feel every cell in my body flip like a switch. And without even understanding what was happening, I just blurted out Jesus in my mind. At that moment, the entity and I looked at each other for a second, and I was forced to take a step forward. At that moment, I felt like I was in a cocked bow, and it shot me into space. I went from almost being atheist to having a spiritual awakening, a spiritual enlightening, probably broke the wheel of samsara, whatever it was. I don't care. But I just know that Jesus saved me, so I'm following him.
Well, that's great,
Or,
man.
yeah,
I don't want to
for sure.
rush you too much, but we do want to get to other callers. But I'm very, very glad to hear that, and I hope that you're doing much better now. It seems like a path of honestly of misery for a long time.
Man.
And
Totally.
you know, these substances, I think they do open up portals to places that allow really bad entities to take over. And you know, I hope you are healed now and just staying safe out there.
I am doing great, man. Just the last thing
Go for
is
it.
quantum physics plus philosophy equals spirituality. Spirituality plus the Messiah's way equals God's will. That was what I was told.
Okay, awesome. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Thanks you for
Appreciate
sharing
you
that.
guys.
And be well, man.
You too.
Whee. 2 back-to-back entity stories. I never did Spice. Remember Spice?
I do.
Yeah, it was a thing.
I know.
It was like a
And-
fake weed or something.
It was.
It was legal, right?
Basically, like, yeah, it was basically like potpourri
Wow.
for crying out
Right.
loud.
Yeah,
like,
potpourri.
a lot of the guys I used to work with were smoking this shit out behind the restaurant, and it was just like you idiots are gonna fuck yourselves up smoking this stuff. Like, this
Yeah.
is not good to smoke at all. Like, and K2, all of that shit. It
Oh
was all
yeah,
just
K2. I forgot about that.
so bad, and it
Yeah.
was screwing people up. Like, people were going fucking nuts on this stuff, and one of these guys actually died, and I don't know if it was from the spice or if he was, you know, fucking with some other stuff that we never found out about. But it was like, I don't know. I didn't get the worth in that shit. It was just so unnatural, so disgusting, like, and just was obviously screwing people up really bad. So
Yep. Well, I mean, it's just, I think it does a lot of damage to our souls, and I hate seeing people go down that path. I've been down there. I know how it goes, and it's miserable.
well, I think there's 2 sides to that story. Some people think that it's spiritual and they're contacting demons and other planes, and there's the other hand that I think, which is just that you guys are killing off a bunch of fucking brain cells at once and you're hallucinating.
Yeah, I know. Like, you are doing massive damage.
Irreversible
body.
damage.
Yeah, opening up
sensory,
holes in your
everything,
brain.
the shit you're doing to your spine, the reactions that it's sending to your body, and the things that you are experiencing. There's reasons why you're getting a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And now we're surrounded by things that are drugs, that aren't drugs. You know what I mean? Social media, all these dopamine hits we get, which is a whole other addiction that is rotting our brains at the same time. And there's also a band named Spice. You ever hear them?
It's like the third. It's
really
like the
good.
second or third time you've like
really
referenced
good.
a band out of somebody's sentence this week.
I can't help it. Spice is a good band, and the song "I Don't Want to Die in New York" or the song "Black Car," good songs. Let's get to another caller.
All right. We're gonna go random with this one.
Sick.
I've seen this person hanging out in chat. Let's bring him on. This is Love You Like 2019. If we actually get a join here. Hello, you are on Inverted World Live. What's up?
Hello.
We've actually got an unmuted mic for this one too. There's just no sound.
Are you there?
Hello, hello.
I heard a sound.
How do we go?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What's up? How are you? You're on Inverted World Live.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Hey,
Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I just have a story about. Have you heard me?
Yeah, you just cut out a little bit, but we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I got to turn off my thing, don't I?
Yeah.
That would help. Well, yeah, I see you guys in the chat talking about kratom kratom. I don't know
Yeah,
about that
it's
stuff. That's
another
like
one of
everywhere
those
now. I see
terrible. It's been everywhere for a
neon
while.
signs,
It's
like-
terrible.
I knew someone who got addicted to it. I'm like, what even is that?
It's kind of the same family of shit.
Interesting. Caller, are you there?
Oh, she turned off the wrong thing.
Oh no. The surprise welcome to the show.
What?
Oh, hey, you can hear us. You are back.
I can hear you.
Okay, we lost you into oblivion. You found your way back to the show.
Okay.
And you can tell your story now.
Okay, but I don't know how to turn off my background thing. I don't know how to turn off my background. Did I?
We don't hear it,
Are you
but
talking about like video? It's not. We're not doing video, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. All right. So you can hear me. All right.
Yep.
So, oh my God, it keeps repeating.
okay, so you're hearing us. If
I'm
there's a way,
hearing you.
if there's
and
a
I
way,
don't know how to turn it off.
If you're listening to the show like somewhere else, mute that. You should be able to
What?
still hear us coming out of the meeting, but you want to
Yep.
mute. If you're actually watching the show on something, you're going to want to turn that down or mute it because there's a lag there.
maybe we should we got to put out like a guidelines for
Angry
Zoom,
and
just
Co
in
says,
case.
"Have you tried turning it off and on again?" That is the number one question that we ask in IT help desk every single
Take
time.
it out,
Have you
blow in
powered
it?
it off and powered it back on?
We keep losing her. Maybe
It's
we have to come
actually kind
back.
of stupid how much that's successful too in
I'm
troubleshooting.
sure.
Yeah, we will come back to you. Let's go to Shanks.
Ooh, Shanks.
Just like Gold, Brooksy, and the Shank.
Sorry, caller. We'll hopefully come back to you.
Shanks, you're on the program. Can you unmute your mic?
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
1 second. You guys kind of look for me.
Sure.
I had to work.
hello.
Hello?
We can hear you.
All right, cool. I got some, just want to say I'm a long time lurker. And I got a couple stories. I got some short ones, some long ones. All has to do with ghosts and ghouls and
Give us the short one, just for the sake of we've only got about 25 or so minutes left in the
Yep.
show. We probably want to try to get to at least one more caller
And
after you.
you're always welcome to call back.
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Short one is when I was real young. It's about shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
Long time ago, and about 4 or 5. There were shadow people just outside my window, and I always saw them. I kept looking. They're always there, and I started screaming for my father to grab them, or so he could actually shoo them away,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And he never saw them, and it was weird because I thought there were just 2 people outside my window the whole time. And one looked like he just had a hammer and he was just looking straight at me. So
And it was just shadows.
just 2. It was shadows and like two people. It was
And-
like looked like 2 people.
How old were you?
I was probably 4 or 5.
Would you know if you were having sleep paralysis? Like, could you move?
I got up and tried to go to the restroom. So I was going to the restroom
Okay.
and I looked at the window and there's 2 there. So I had to run back to my bed.
Okay. And did they stay there or they move after you?
They were there for about 6 months.
They were there for 6 months.
Yeah, they're just staring. It looked like they were trying to break into the window.
In the same part of the house, in the bathroom, they were there for 6 months.
Oh, it was in my bedroom.
In your
but
bedroom,
I was
sorry.
trying to go to the bathroom.
Got you.
And the week prior, my brother saw them at a different window because we had 2 windows, one on the left and one in front. So there's just like a left wall full of that. And apparently, about 3 weeks prior to me and him seeing them, two people actually escaped from the jail, the county jail. So my dad was freaking out apparently. And
so two
yeah,
people
no.
broke out, but you're seeing these entities, these shadows, for 6 months. Did your parents see it?
Nope. When my dad came in, he said there's nobody there, just go back to sleep. But they're always watching. It was
And did
kind
your
of weird.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, I'd say. Did your brother see them again?
So my brother saw them in broad daylight. One day early in the morning, he said he saw them in broad daylight, and he just, because he's a couple years younger than me, he just kind of covered himself back up, and he never saw them again.
But you saw them for 6 months. Do you remember how it ended? Did they just disappear all of a sudden, or something go down?
Oh, we moved.
Oh,
We
you moved?
houses. Yeah, it was
That'll do
just
it.
a freak coincidence that we moved.
That'll do it.
But-
And then that was it. No more
Yep,
shadows, at least for this time.
Well, for that house.
Interesting.
So no, it's weird because like after that I didn't see them, but I could hear things under the bed, like sounded almost like a dining room, like a fancy dining room get together with like metal forks and plates just clinking around.
Right.
And then years later, it was about 6 months ago, my brother told me he'd hear the same things.
Interesting.
So,
And that was in the new place?
new place and old place.
Oh, interesting.
And it kind of went away probably when we hit about 13, 14, we just kind of slowly faded away.
Did the shadows in the window make sounds?
Nope. They just stood there. They didn't have a hat either.
Thank you.
But one had what looked like a hammer. And
did he move it? Like, did he motion it in a threatening way, or just look like in his hands he had it?
every time I looked away, it'd start going down because I thought it was like him trying to break into the window. And the size is like there's two. One was probably, you could barely see the bottom of his neck from the window, and this window's 7 foot off the ground.
Okay,
So
that's even weirder.
But yeah, just two, and there's a shorter one that's about mid height, and he had the one with the hammer, and it was like a big ass sledgehammer, just trying to break in.
Well, that's not a fun thing to go to sleep with for 6 months.
Nope. I just kind of prayed to God, and it's about all I could do.
Right. Were they there all night? Like you said, 6 months, but it was a continuous thing through the night or through the.
Oh yeah, you go to bed when the sun went down, and I look out the window, and I'd be looking at them until I fall asleep.
Man, it is crazy what we see as kids and what we just don't understand. I mean, we still don't understand a lot of it, but it's wild. But I appreciate the shadow story. Always scary. There's something weird going on with shadows and kids. And I know you got other stories, so I do hope you call back and share some more.
Yeah, will do.
Awesome,
Have
man.
a good night.
Have a good night. Freaking shadows and kids. What is that? I mean, my shadow story is weird. I don't even know what that is. We talked about it a little bit last night. Perhaps I found myself skipping through space-time, but let's do another caller. We got time.
Which, if you notice, I'm gonna put you full screen. I got you surrounded by your shadows on the wall.
Oh, no. Holy, look at that, people. Look at that.
So that's Trinity over there. Trinity Shane, Batter My Heart, 3-person God.
I'm just going to have my shadow do the show. Which one?
It's, you're having a Peter Pan complex, is what that is. So
Yeah, I've heard that
I've
before.
limited my shadow capabilities on this side by oversaturating everything with light in this area. But Shane, trifecta of shadows on
Yeah,
purpose. So.
I never noticed that. Have they always been there?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, they are always there. The day that they're not is when we need to start worrying.
They just walk off. That'd be cool. When the budget gets bigger, you can make my shadows walk away.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
They can take bathroom breaks,
Yeah,
but
that'd be
right
fun.
now I need them there.
Awesome.
All right. Let's go to who else has been here?
J. Yo Lo Mejor says, "Are they high? Are they talking about us?" Devin Hill, Rabbi Shanesburg Cashmanstein. Wait, were you in my comments last night? If so, that name sounds familiar. I told you that was on my birth certificate. You're not supposed to say that out loud.
Slid into your DMs, huh?
I don't know if it was DMs. I think that was a comment, actually.
That's what they all say.
Silly Goose says, "Does Tim Pool's shadow still wear a beanie?" Yeah, obviously. Double beanie. Corn Pop, I've been through a portal in my closet. What? I can tell because I hit my head when I landed in the bathroom. Sounds like a drywall issue, dude.
It's if it wasn't before, it certainly was now.
Devin, that was you. Awesome. What's up?
So I'm gonna go. My repeat offenders. I see you guys in here. Love you guys. Thanks for calling. I want to try to get to one more new person if I can here because I don't recognize this name. But we'll see if this is just another trick played by the intelligent public of changing the name. Let's go to Broke Cracker.
Oh, I do have to say that Akeem Altar says Ian's shadow is made out of pure graphene. I'm sure it is. There's like no denying that.
How do we know Ian's graphene isn't made out of pure shadow?
Ooh, that's good. That's good. All right, let's do it.
Broke Cracker, just like me. Let's go.
Welcome
to the show. Can you hear us?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
We
loud
can.
And, loud
What
and
is up?
clear.
Yeah, I got a Ouija board story, if that's fine to tell.
Oh, man.
Of course.
I seen you guys talking about that a couple shows ago, and I didn't get... Well, anyways, I was back in high school. I'm in my late 30s now. My buddy and I, he came over to my house one day in the middle of the night, and we got a thing where we call, like, let's go haunted housing, because I live in a Midwest rural area. Oh, he's somewhat of a distant family member, and it's his girlfriend. They're gonna come by and they pick up me and my buddy to go find a haunted house, just abandoned home, and see if we find anything spooky. Oh, we did that, didn't find anything, and his girlfriend, I guess my distant cousin, his girlfriend, she has a Ouija board, and she's like, "Would you guys come over and play with the Ouija board?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
Why is it always the women who want to play with the Ouija boards? Stop it.
I don't.
Yep.
It's crazy because they get crazy when they have women players. Is when they're very active. From what I noticed. Anyways, we go back to their house, which is in a different town, like 12 miles away. When we get to this house, it's a pretty good sized house because this kind of goes into the story. The dining room and kitchen are together, and it has an island in the kitchen. And it's a pretty good sized kitchen dining room table. And the living room is shaped like an L, and that the hallway that connects the kitchen and the living room is an archway. And in that L shape, there's the stairs. And this plays into the story also. And we're sitting at the table. I'm sitting to my left. My buddy's sitting to the right. My distant cousin's girlfriend is sitting across from me, and my cousin's adjacent to me. Well, they break out the Ouija board. They said they bought it. I think, I want to say Salem, Massachusetts, when they were visiting there. And the lady that they bought from was like a wicked store. And she gave them instructions on what not to let the Ouija board do. The three that it was written on there, it says, don't let it spin, don't let it do a figure eight, and don't let it count down. Well, my buddy and my distant cousin, we both touch it, but it's not really working because his girlfriend's getting candles around, starting to light the candles, but once she touches it, this board comes alive. We start asking it, like, your standard questions, like, who are we talking to? Our name, trying to figure out if it can guess something like what's in our pocket, whatnot. We still can't get an answer like this, whatever we're talking to at the end of this board. Well, finally, it spells its name. It says fun. F-U-N, fun. Anyways, we start asking it questions, and I guess we're taunting it after a while. And we're trying to make push a candle, and literally the piece would move on its own. They would get up to get a drink of water, and the piece would literally spin on the board, And my buddy, my cousin, he'd be like, "Stop it! Grab that piece!" And we'd have to put our hand on it. It would literally just spin on its own, which was fucking crazy. That like my buddy, like he was at the point where he wanted to leave. He was freaking out because he would not touch it. So it's just 3 of us playing. Well, we get towards the end of it, and we ask like how many players are actually playing, because my buddy has not touched the platelet. I think it's called platelet.
Planchette. Yep.
Planchette, and he would not touch it. Well, this fucking piece, we asked it how many players is it playing, and it said 4. I'm like, no, 3. Well, that thing goes off the board onto the table and touches my buddy's right arm because he's turned into me because he's set far away from this freaking board as possible because he won't touch it. He's freaking out. Then it touches him, goes back onto the dang, comes back onto the board and says, "Take off camo jacket," and that's when my buddy just lost his shit. He jumps up and he's like, "Dude, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go. I'm like, "Dude, we rode with them. What are we gonna do? Walk home? 12 miles?" Well, he was wearing a camouflage Mazio jacket. And that's when he lost his shit. And finally, my cousin's like, since he touched it, you got to play now, because that's part of the rules. Like, if it touched, you got to make sure everybody says goodbye. And so they finally calmed down my buddy. Then he starts touching it, and we start asking, like, "Where you at?" And it says, "Possessing dog." And we're like, "You guys have a dog?" He's like, "Our roommates does, but they're upstairs, and they always sleep with the door shut, so we're good." So we start taunting it more. And my cousin starts getting into it more, because he's a pretty big guy. He's like, "Come get us." And all of a sudden, like, I forgot what was ass in between there, but all of a sudden we hear a bedroom door open. And we're like, "What the fuck?" And hear steps. And then next thing you know, the board spell's coming downstairs. And it's pitch black. You can't hardly see into the living room, because that's how good size this dining room and kitchen is. And the candlelight is not illuminating the rooms bright enough to see into the dining room, or into the living room. Well, next day it says coming down the stairs. Next night we hear footsteps coming down the stairs. We're all like, "What the fuck?" We all get to the point where we turn our chairs and we're all looking into the living room, like almost like at a half sit but a half stand. Like, we're getting ready to all jet. Anyways, it spells like coming around the corner. Next thing you know, we see this white figure. We all freak out, but it's kind of funny too, because we all jump back. We're all screaming like, "What the fuck?"
Is it
like,
the dog?
we're almost having No, it's their roommate. She's wearing a white robe, but she's black, and you can't see her. But the only thing you see is this white robe, and she starts freaking out. We're like, "What the fuck?" And next thing you know, we look at the board, and that piece starts spelling "ha ha" on its own. Ha ha on its own. Like, I was telling my brother this, who was now in law enforcement, and I don't do drugs or anything. The only thing I do is drink. Well,
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah. Anyways, I tell my brother this. I tell him everything. He's like, "No, fuck," because he's like, "I don't believe any of that shit." Well, my buddy also hangs out with my brother. He starts asking my buddy about everything. I'm like, "Well, when you next time my buddy comes over, ask him about it." And then next couple days, I was like, "Oh, did you ask my buddy about the week?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What'd he say?" He's like, "Pretty much everything you said." And man, I will never forget it, though, man. That piece would literally spin like. I have a dining room. My coffee table isn't actually a Ouija board.
Wait, now?
My coffee table is a Ouija board.
After all that, you have a coffee table that's a Ouija board?
Yeah, it doesn't scare me. I don't know. Like, I got freaking goosebumps right now talking about this. But
was it like exposure therapy for you? Like this possessed Ouija board messes with you?
Well, hang on. Do you leave the thing like sitting on it, like just loose, chilling? Like, does it?
Yeah.
It never spins or anything, or doesn't
never
do anything?
moved. Like, no, it does. I never had any problems with it. I just leave it all the time because I use it also as a cup holder. Like, put my beer on. People like it. It's a good conversation piece. Bring people over.
Is it the same? Is it the same Ouija board?
No, this is actually the one that they had was like one. It was like it came in a box. It didn't even have a brand. I think the one they had was like handmade painted, because it wasn't like a Parker Brothers or anything like that. It actually folded up into it folded out, which it looked like it was like maybe like a 5x4 board, but then it folds out. But the cassette looked pretty crazy looking. I think theirs was custom made. They got it out of like a wicked store, like a a store that like into witchcrafts or odysseys,
Right.
and that's where they bought it.
In Salem, Massachusetts.
Yep, in Salem, Massachusetts.
I would never buy a Ouija. I will never buy a Ouija board to begin with, but definitely not one from Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, my buddy made mine. With the CNC machine, and man, it's crazy because like he took it, which is also on the stand is a podium that at a church. He just cut in half and used it as the legs.
He took a podium from a church and made a Ouija board.
Abandoned church. Yep, and he cut it in half.
You
and
guys
that's
are
the
messing.
stand.
You guys are messing with dark forces.
It's pretty cool looking. Like I don't know how many people that wanted to buy it from me when he posted it online to show it off. Like,
Wow, that's wild.
That's
That's wild.
my
Well, that's a
Ouija
crazy
board
Ouija board story. We appreciate you sharing it, man.
yeah, you're welcome, man. Love the show. This is my favorite nighttime show now.
Oh man, that means a lot. We really appreciate it. If you ever got anything else to tell us, call in. Let us know.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good night.
You too, man.
Thank you for taking my call.
Of course. Amazing. You guys out there, you getting Ouija boards? You messing with those things? You turn them into coffee tables?
You
I love that.
You got eggs popping out of them.
I love that. Yeah. We have had burning Ouija boards with eggs popping out. I don't know about that. I did see you guys out there talking about dinosaurs, which are fake. You know they were dragons. I don't know what I missed in the chat, but I just have to put that out there. At some point, we'll go deeper down into that rabbit hole.
That's gonna have to be something that we
It's a big one.
butt heads on for about 45 minutes at the
We could
beginning
do
of one of these shows.
We'll do that for sure.
I'm down to wait until something's relevant.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start looking. I'm gonna will something to be relevant for dinosaurs and dragons and putting it out there. Shane bought his wood chair in Salem. It's so old. Yo, it is old. That was silly goose. It is a very old chair. I'm gonna fall
And
on
you guys
air.
see me over here living it
This dude's
up
chilling.
this entire episode. I've been
chilling.
rocking, kicking it. I lean back. My lumbar isn't killing me right now. I don't feel like my back is being possessed by some weird thrift store fucking demon that whatever the hell is living in this furniture.
I wonder if that's why I'm in constant pain. I have so much back pain from years of hardcore shows.
Yeah, it's some creepy old lady's like, you're going to suffer like I did.
Yeah. I thought it was an ex-girlfriend that put a hex on me.
No, I came in today to do the pretest and I sat down and I was like, I've had enough. That's it. That's the last straw. I'm done. I'm not comfortable.
Yep.
I'm ending this. And there's a video that I have to find. I actually brought this over from the warehouse and I was on my one wheel and I was behind it, pushing
Amazing.
it on the electric skateboard. So it was
Amazing.
just me in a chair flying up the path. And I think Andy got it. I'll show it one of these days when I
Yeah,
can get it
you
sent
have
in.
to pull it up. That's great.
It's one of the dumbest things ever recorded.
I love that.
But some conspiracy theorists, maybe even Shane, might say that it was a UFO or
You?
it was a UAP.
Brandon the UFO.
Even though you clearly see me look at the I gave it the Bigfoot
too
look,
blurry.
and then
It's too blurry.
kind of went like the Sand People and fucking Star Wars. And,
Oh man,
yeah, it was good.
that's great. Well, it's 11:52.
Do you want to get into? We had
Yeah, we had a lot.
we did
we might as well do one
not,
of
and
those.
I actually did kind of want to touch base on this, and it was going to take a few minutes anyway. But
Yeah.
we have the Duffy announcement. If you want to go through that,
Yeah, we should strike while the iron's hot.
yeah.
Let's pull that up. I'll read it off this thing. Duffy to announce nuclear reactor on the moon. Here we go. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. I believe Tim Pool interviewed Sean Duffy recently. He will announce expedited plans this week to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. The first major action by the former Fox News host as the interim NASA administrator.
That sentence is crazy.
Not the only one in the administration.
That small paragraph
Mm-hmm.
itself is crazy.
Everything about that is crazy. You're right. Like the fact that they even believe in the moon, right? Is that what you're saying?
It wasn't the first thing that I was going to say. No, but nice slide in on that one, Mr. Cashman.
Yes.
The first major action by the former Fox News host as the interim NASA administrator. Fox News host,
Yeah.
NASA administrator.
Who's making expedited plans as the transportation secretary.
To build a nuclear reactor on the fucking moon.
There's that part too. How could we forget that part? Well, welcome to 2025. This year has been insane.
Dude, okay, so
Insane.
the first thing I want to cite about this is this instantly gets into we have to colonize the moon in order for this to happen. You cannot have a reactor functioning without people there
Right.
to make appropriate adjustments, things like that, which means having a crew.
China.
And having a crew necessitates having a place for these people to live while they're working, shipping people on and off the moon to trade out every few months so people don't lose their fucking minds from being in space for months and months and months at a time.
Right.
You know,
Right. I've seen the movie Moon. Have you seen that movie? That's a good one.
It's a movie now too.
Moon, I think it's just called Moon. It was a movie. I think it's about a guy kind of going crazy. It's been many, many years since I saw it, but it was good. I remember liking it. But yeah, you're right. There needs to be something there. But also, how'd they get in there? I thought they forgot how to get there. Like if it's there, which I do think there is something there. How did they get there? Because they said they lost the technology. How did they lose the technology?
The only thing these people have lost is their fucking minds. I don't know why this is an idea. I don't know why we need to have something like this up there.
This is Trump's idea. We need a nuclear reactor on the moon.
But what could this be alluding to is the question here. Why are they doing it? What is the ulterior motive here?
A bunch of things. China is allegedly there doing stuff we don't know about, and there's probably some space race with that.
And yeah, you can say that this is flex of power, but I think there's definitely an ulterior motive here.
And then if Mars is a thing we all want to agree on or not, we'll agree on it for the sake of this conversation. Mars, they could use this as some sort of like jump off base, a landing area, a prep area.
Which is what I was saying too.
Yep.
We would need to create a place up there in order for us to get a head start to Mars.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're wasting a shit ton of fuel and everything getting out of atmosphere. It would make more sense to leave from orbit and get that slingshot without having to do all of that induction and all of that shit.
And there's always new weird stories about the moon. Like, even recently I saw one. There's people always been trying to build an elevator to the moon. Have you seen that? It's a conversation that keeps popping up.
Similar to Stairway to Heaven, I guess.
Stairway to Heaven, but elevator to the moon. Well, I'm going to read a little more. NASA has discussed building a reactor on the lunar surface, but this would set a more definitive timeline according to documents obtained by Politico and come just as the agency faces a massive budget cut. Doge. The move also underscores how Duffy, who faced pushback from lawmakers about handling two jobs, wants to play a role in NASA policymaking.
Is this one of those things where they're trying to get funding by having this outlandish idea?
Yeah, it's the big ask. It is about winning the second space race, said a NASA senior official, granted anonymity to discuss the documents ahead of their wider release. I already don't trust that. President Donald Trump named Duffy as interim administrator in July after abruptly withdrawing the nomination of billionaire Jared Isaacman amid a spat with the nominee's ally, Elon Musk. We all remember the spat, right? When Elon said that Donald was in the Epstein files, which of course he is. I don't think it means he's guilty. I think most of these people are in the Epstein files. Both those guys, Jared and Elon, are probably in the Epstein files. Duffy also offered a directive to more quickly replace the International Space Station. That's interesting. Another NASA goal. The two moves could help accelerate U.S. efforts to reach the moon and Mars, a goal that China is also pursuing. You mean again? Or are you just going to play along now that we never went? Or we went and we didn't film the real thing? Curious about that. Duffy also offered... Wait, go up real quick. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The plans... Did I lose it?
Did I lose it?
There it is. The plans align with the Trump administration's focus on crewed space flight, not CRUD.
Yeah, not like oil.
But
manned space flight.
If they find oil on the moon, they are bombing it tomorrow.
Oh, there's going to be war.
We're done. The White House has proposed a budget that would increase human spaceflight funds for 2026, even as it advocates for major slashes to other programs, including a nearly 50% cut for science missions. They know space is fake. Doge knows.
It's not science either, so we only need 50% of the budget.
The reactor directive orders the agency to solicit industry proposals for a 100 kilowatt nuclear reactor to launch by 2030. So like when they say launch, are we launching the reactor up there?
we're gonna build it down here and then just shoot it up there and hope for the best.
Amazing. I'm assuming that's exactly what they mean. A key consideration for astronauts' return to the lunar surface. NASA previously funded research into a 40 kilowatt reactor for use on the moon, with plans to have a reactor ready for launch by the early 2030s. What do you guys think? What do you think? Is this going to happen?
Hang on. The first country to have a reactor could declare a keep-out zone, which would significantly inhibit the United States. A sign of the agency's concern about a joint project China and Russia have launched.
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine a Chernobyl event on the moon?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And maybe that will be the thing that blows up the moon. They're saying it's going to be that asteroid, that thing that was going to blow up the moon, but it's going to be us.
Yeah. We don't need that to happen because the closest thing to the moon is us. So where do you think pieces of that giant rock are going to head?
Come flying here
during an explosion.
Come flying here
at an accelerated rate.
I mean, there's all that alleged DNA and ashes of humans up there that people pay for, and now we're gonna have a nuclear reactor, so you're gonna have radiated human remains on the moon. I mean, this is an Ed Wood movie.
I got to get to this last part here too. The directive also orders NASA to designate a leader for the effort and get industry input within 60 days. The agency is seeking companies able to launch a reactor by 2030, since that's around the time China intends to land its first astronaut on the moon.
Yes.
70 years late.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, is China.
Amazing.
But you got to give them a hand for trying, I guess.
Orbit's dog over there on Rumble says, why do we have to F with everything on the moon? I don't know, because that's what we do. We want to blow it up. They're going to tell us, NASA's going to tell us that something else is going to blow it up, but really they know it's going to be them that blows it up. That's how it always works. They want to create it. Fisherman85, moon supremacy could be a geostrategic move. Yeah, moon supremacy. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, Van Allen belt, anyone? I know, Brad Souter, I know.
Monica says if the moon is destroyed, it will fuck up Earth's orbit. She's not wrong. It's also going to do a lot with the tides.
Or we find out it has no control over anything, and it goes
you
away.
Would love that,
and it goes away, and it's like, oh, wow, they were right about it. It was just a mothership for ancient breakaway civilization in a big laboratory where they created Elon Musk and sent him down here on their invisible elevator.
Or it's a rock.
It's a rock.
That's
like IRAQ.
No, like Dwayne Johnson.
Like Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. Could be. Who knows, people? This was a fun one. As always, thank you to the callers. Brandon, where can they find you on this planet Earth?
As always, you can find me on the interwebs, on X and on Insta at BrandoInverted. Thanks to all our callers. If you called in tonight and I didn't get to you, please call back tomorrow. I will bring you on the show. Thanks for hanging out, and don't forget to stay weird. Shane, get us out of here.
Oh, you see you guys out there. The Moon Clan from Bobby Broadway. That's great. You can't blow up the moon with a nuclear reactor. No, they could try. And I see you, Bobby, the racist moon theory. Yeah, we're going to get into all that some other point. And also dinosaurs and dragons. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are the best. For those we didn't get to in the calls, call back tomorrow. We'll be here to round out the week. You can find me online at Shane Cashman. And I hope you all have a great night, a safe night. Sleep tight. We'll see you tomorrow. Later.